Hey, what do we got here?
A whole lot of silver.
Let me help you out real quick. The old man is crazy about silver. He's gonna be like a kid on Christmas morning when he sees this. I've never seen you get up from your desk that quick.
I always get up, son.
Not generally very
Move your
quick.
hand.
I came to the pawn shop today to sell my silver. I have over 3,000 ounces. Growing up, my dad always taught me to invest, and so I'm here today to cash in on that investment. If they want less than face value, well, we'll see what we can work out.
Wow, that is a boatload of silver you have right there. Where did you get all this stuff?
So I bought it about 12 years ago, and I held on to it, and here I am today.
So what do you got here?
I got some 90% silver dimes over here, some quarters. I got these bars, and this thing alone is almost 75 pounds.
Oh, that's cool. Most people don't realize until 1964, all U.S. dimes, quarters, half dollars, silver dollars were all made out of silver. And all paper money was a promise to pay you real money.
Right.
I've been collecting silver, son, for the past 30 years. Silver and gold is a hedge against hyperinflation.
People have been mining silver since at least 3000 BC. But silver mining really blew up after the discovery of the New World when they found huge amounts of it in South America. All right, I just gotta make sure, it's all silver coin.
Okay.
It's really important for me to scan all the edges on these to make sure there's no modern coins in here. When you look at an edge of a quarter or a dime today, you see copper and nickel. Pre-64, all silver, no copper. They look right. It's the right color. It's all 1964 or before. Do you mind if I go weigh them just to make sure they weigh the right amount?
No problem.
So you have 3,372 ounces of silver. You bought right at the bottom of the market. In the late 1990s, silver was down to $3 an ounce, but silver is the best conductor of electricity there is, period.
Okay.
Just about every cell phone, every computer, television, they all started needing silver. By, I think it was last year, 500 million ounces of silver was used just in industry. I hear that there's basically a shortage of silver nowadays. I'd love to buy silver all day, every day of the week, because there's a set profit margin. I can sell it on the market immediately. So what do you want to do with it?
I want to sell it.
Ricky, this one's going to be difficult to buy, and you know why.
When you're talking this much money, there's too much temptation to put a bar of steel or something in the center. And when they make them this big, they don't make them in odd weights.
So you're saying this might not be pure silver?
What I'm saying is there might be a chunk inside that's not pure silver.
Can we test this thing?
Yeah, drill a few holes in it, take the shavings out, melt them down, make sure it's all silver. Give me a few minutes. If everything checks out, I'll pay you. If it doesn't check out, I'll give you an address where you can send it. Okay?
Okay. I never even imagined this might not be silver. I'm really nervous right now.
Testing silver is a little work, but it's not rocket science. First off, you have to drill deep enough to make sure there's not a lead core or some other metal in the middle of the bar. Then you melt down all the filings until they liquefy and you create a small button. The last step is dropping some nitric acid on it and seeing what color it turns. When nitric acid reacts with pure silver, it turns a creamy white. If it's any other metal, it can turn green, blue to gray. Okay, here's the deal. Yeah, it's all right, it's fine. Now that I know it's pure silver, I'll be more than happy to buy this humongous bar, but I have to factor in the unusual cost when trying to sell something so heavy and odd-shaped. You got 46,000 for the coins, 33,390 for these bars right here. 32.39 times 942 equals. So we got a total of $110,901.
Well, let's make a deal.
That is the deal.
You can't go like 115?
No. I mean, there's not a lot of profit here. On $110,901, I'm probably gonna make 1,500 bucks off you.
But can't you just hold all this for 6 months, a year, and sell it for 120?
Or hold on to it for 6 months and sell it for 50? I am not a speculator in the silver market. I'm a businessman.
So what's your best price you can give me today?
I'll go 111,000 even. I'll go up 99 bucks.
How about 112?
No, there's no money to be made for it.
You know, you're welcome to check around, but most people go $1 back on everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I can do. I can do 111,000. Or if you want to, you can tote the stuff around and check some more.
Well, I bought it 12 years ago for way less than that. 111 sounds good to me.
All right, it's a deal, 111.
I'm really glad my dad taught me to invest, because today I'm walking out with over $100,000.
I'm gonna take one of these, Rick.
No, you're not.
Come on.
What do we got here?
I got a gold bar I want you to look at.
All right. Oh, wow. Hey, Pops. You want to come look at this?
Where in the world did you get this?
Grandma just passed away a few months ago. We were cleaning things out, and we found this thing.
Did Grandpa happen to be a jewelry store robber or anything? Or?
I came to the pawn shop today to see if I could sell my old gold bar. This bar kind of really surprised us. I never really heard about it, and nobody else had, so I thought we got to go get this looked at and see what it's worth. Maybe sell it, get some money, and split that up among the family members.
What do you think, Pops?
It's gold. It's a big chunk of gold. You got approximately $24,000 worth of gold here.
Wow.
When you've been a pawnbroker as long as I have, you know real gold when you see it. And judge it by the weight of it, there's a lot of it.
Before 1971, it was against the law to own this. You weren't allowed to have more than, I think, 5 ounces of gold in your house, period. It was a federal offense.
It was called the Gold Confiscation Act. FDR, in the Depression, bought all the gold off everybody in the United States for $20 an ounce. And it was up until the 70s when Nixon took us off the gold standard that we were allowed to own gold again.
There was a lot of people in this country who hid it because they didn't want the government taking it away.
During the Depression, FDR made it illegal to own gold. You could own a little bit of jewelry, a little bit of coins, that was it. The reason he did this is he wanted to devaluate the value of the dollar, hoping that would spur the economy along.
The weird thing about it is the markings on it right here. What the XX means, I have no idea.
So what's the deal with this white stuff on there?
Sometimes they cast this in a mold. It's called investment. It's like plaster of Paris, but different. And you'll have crustaceans like this in it, but it'll flake right out with your fingernail. And this feels like it's actually like coral or something. I mean, it looks like shipwreck stuff, to tell you the truth.
You mean like buried treasure?
It could be, yeah. Was your grandfather a diver or anything like that?
I don't know if he was or not. He was down in the Caribbean for a while, and I don't know if he came across something there he didn't ever tell anybody about.
I buy gold from people every day, but I never have gold bars from a shipwreck walk into my shop. This thing might not be worth its weight in gold. It might be worth way more.
So what did you want to do with this? You want to sell it?
Yeah, I want to sell it.
I would like someone to take a look at it. This could be off a ship just because of this right here.
So I'll find out if it's treasure for you.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm president of Big Blue Wreck Salvage and a marine artifact expert. I'm passionate about the pursuit of history and information. Well, what are your concerns, Rick?
What the XX means, I have no idea. And it looks like there's some crustacean on the back of it that's not from casting.
Well, what you've got here are the finest markings. These particular stamps I recognize from the 1500s. And even at that time, gold was evaluated on a 24 scale. It's marked as 20 karat.
I could see with my own 2 eyes that that's more gold than 20 karat.
Well, they had taxes in the 1540s and 1550s also. So if you can get it marked for less, you can avoid some of those taxes.
I think it's pretty funny that even back in the 1500s, people were trying to cheat on their taxes.
Modern testing would bring this in at probably 22 or better.
Okay. So you think it's off a ship?
Well, what you have is definitely coral incrustation. Coral will attach itself to something harder to grow.
Okay.
That would have taken, decades to have attached itself. This thing was underwater for a long time. And this is definitely shipwreck treasure.
Okay.
Sweet.
There are 2 sites that have yielded bars of this type. One is from the coast of Texas. The 1554 Spanish fleet was wrecked there, and there's a site in the northern Caribbean.
So how much do you think it's worth?
Melt times 2 is what you're talking about.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Remember earlier when I said $24,000 in scrap?
Yeah.
Scrap is melt. It's just like a trade term.
So you're telling me that's worth $48,000?
In that neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna start melting down wedding bands and stamping X's on it.
If you can get the coral to grow on it.
I got a fish tank.
All right, thanks for coming in, Mel.
My pleasure.
There's probably not a lot of people out there willing to buy this thing, but here's the deal. The people that are willing to spend a lot of money. Trust me, a lot. So now that we know, what do you want to do?
I still want to sell it.
Okay. And how much would you like for it?
Well, if it's worth 48, I want 48.
Yeah, if money talks, we're talking different languages at the moment.
44?
No, because if I put this in an auction, they're going to charge me 20%, okay?
All right.
I mean, I'll go like $32,000 on it.
Come on, you got to give me more than that. It's worth 48.
I'll give you $35,000, and I don't even want to pay you that. Cash money.
All right.
$35,000. Let's go do some paperwork.
Totally pumped to get $35,000. It was a lot more than I expected, so I'm pleased as punch to get that.
Hey, how can I help you?
I have a coin I think you might be interested in.
Okay.
It's a steel penny. Are you familiar with those?
Yes, I am. Whoa. It's a 1944 steel penny. That is really neat. I know there's less than 100 of them in existence.
From my research, there's less than 30 that exist.
Okay. You know, I own a pawn shop and I deal in a gazillion different things, so I can't know everything, even though my kids tell me I'm a know-it-all.
I'm coming to the pawn shop today to sell a 1944 steel penny. This is a very rare coin. It was given to me as a gift for my 70th birthday. I know I don't look 70 years old, but I am as old as this coin.
It's amazing. This is a really, really weird coin. This coin isn't supposed to exist. It was,
That's correct.
you know, World War II happens along. I mean, just everything was rationed. Bacon was rationed. And, you know, the U.S. government came along and says, hey, you know, we make tens of millions of pennies every year. Basically told the U.S. Mint, you have to make cents out of something else because copper is a war metal. So they started making, you know, the cents during 1943 out of steel that were zinc plated, and everyone absolutely hated them. People were confusing the steel cent for a nickel or a dime. So in 44, we stopped making the steel pennies. But when you're making tens of millions of cents, you know, there were steel bins and stuff like that, and they think that like some of the blanks got like stuck in the corners and things like that. And when they were pouring them out into the machines, a few of these got made. This coin is one of the great mistakes of the U.S. Mint. And in general, when the United States Mint makes a mistake on a coin, that coin is going to be worth a lot of money. How much are you asking for this?
$102,000.
Whoa. I am going to call in a friend, look this thing over 100%. You know what I mean? For
102%.
102%, yeah. Hang out a few minutes. I will get him down here, and we will try and figure out a price. All right?
Got it.
This coin is extremely rare and really desirable, but $102,000 sounds like a lot of money for this coin. I have to do some research, and I got to call some people.
It isn't every day I get a call about a 1944 steel cent.
This is pretty amazing.
These 1944 steel cents and the 1943 copper cents are probably the most famous errors of the 20th century from the United States Mint. And you would not believe how many people have dug through mounds and mounds of pocket change trying to find one of these. Because if you find one, it's a gold mine, and we're looking at one of them right now.
There you are, yes.
So how many of those actually got out into circulation?
Well, that's a big question because these were struck at all three mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. They struck, it was something like 2 billion cents in 43 and 44 at the three mints. And the total population of off-metal strikes is about 60. And most of them were struck at Philadelphia, like this one. May represent something like half the known population. However, it's still a rare coin.
Yeah, and there's only 30 of them out of a couple billion. That makes it
Yeah,
pretty rare.
it's a very rare coin. There's a huge collector market for these. In some senses, it's a little narrow because there aren't too many people who will part with this much money for an error coin. But for those who take it seriously, everyone wants this coin.
So what do you think this would go for?
Well, you have here an extremely valuable coin. I think you know that. And there aren't too many to go around, and that drives the price up substantially. The last two of these that have traded at public auction in last year and the year before both brought approximately $30,000. And
That seems awfully low to me.
it's a public auction, both of them.
That's okay, but you don't necessarily have to bring this coin to a public auction.
No, but public auctions are actually where the most realistic prices are set because every major collector in the world gets those catalogs because these are high-profile auctions.
There's many sites that value that coin a lot higher than that number.
But
Okay.
the auctions are very clear in determining the value of these coins.
Okay. All right. Have a good one, Dave.
All righty, thanks.
The value of $30,000 for this coin is extremely low. This is probably one of the rarest penny coins in existence. I don't know where the expert came up with that value.
It is what it is. If this thing, I would give you 25 grand for it.
No? I'm not sure you know what you have here.
Well, I know exactly what I have. I have something that I could probably sell between $30,000 and $35,000.
There's none for sale, though. There's none of these for sale. This is the one.
Okay.
This
If
is
you want
this is the only one in the state of Nevada.
Maybe, but it's still what it is. What's the lowest you'd go?
You know, I drop it down to the minimum that it's valued at about $75,000.
Not gonna happen.
Then we will not be able to make a deal.
Have a good one, though. Thanks for stopping by, though.
No problem. I think the offer of $25,000 is ridiculously low, but I'll just keep it in the family, and somebody eventually will sell it for a lot more than I'm being offered today.
So what do we got here?
This is a solid silver Julius Caesar bust.
Thing is solid silver?
Well, apart from the base, the head is.
Okay. It's Vegas, you know. Julius Caesar, really, really popular guy around here. Has a palace down the street.
Yeah. I'm at the pawn shop today to sell my solid silver Julius Caesar bust. I inherited it when my aunt sadly passed. This bust was her prized possession. It was centerpiece over the fireplace. Everyone could see it when they walked in the house. I'm hoping to get about $75,000 for it.
This is really cool. Julius Caesar, I mean, the guy had a crazy life. I mean, you got to be pretty cool to get Shakespeare to write a play about you.
Yeah.
So it was around 46 BC, he became dictator of Rome, which was a 10-year position, and pretty much decided, you know, that's cool and all, but I'm just gonna take over the whole thing because he thought that the Senate and everything was really corrupt. So he just decided, hey, you know what? I know what's best. I'm just gonna make the decisions myself. They use the term benevolent dictator,
Right.
where he actually really cared about the people. And as far as they were concerned, Julius Caesar was the guy. But the Senate hated him because he took their power away, and then he ends up getting stabbed on the Senate floor. After he died, his great-nephew, Augustus, became the first emperor of the Roman Empire. And that's why we have July and August.
There you go.
So where'd you get it?
It was passed down to me.
Okay, you mind if I take a better
Go
look
for
at
it.
it?
Yeah.
Came from the Vatican, I guess, or has something to do with it. And it says right here, you got 500 ounces of silver. Silver's around 24 bucks an ounce. We're looking at least $12,000 worth of silver if you melted it down.
Right.
That being said, I mean, it is a really, really cool piece. How much are you looking to get for it?
I'm looking realistically for about $75,000.
You know what, man? I really don't know. Yeah, somebody obviously spent a lot of time and money making this thing.
Right.
So, do you mind if I have a buddy of mine come down and take a look at it?
Yeah. Sound good?
Give me a second. I'll give him a call. I'll be right back, all right?
I'm pretty confident the expert's gonna come in and I'll get pretty close to the asking price that I'm looking for today, so we'll see.
So, we have a bust of Julius Caesar, 500 ounces of silver.
Can't go wrong with that.
And there's something to do with the Vatican on the back?
Yeah, I recognize this piece. I've seen it before. This is actually the Chiaramonte Caesar. And the thing that's really neat about this is the fact that this was molded from the original marble. So a foundry called Arte Divine got licensing from the Vatican to cast several of their major works into bronze and into silver. And this is one of them. But what's really cool about it is this is one of the only pieces that, well, one of two, this and the Tusculum, that was done during his lifetime. So it's historically a very, very interesting piece.
So how many of these were made?
This is a very rare piece. You almost never see these. In the solid silver, there were 99.
So what's something like this worth?
When they first came out, the gallery price at the time was about $75,000, and you'll still see them on the market for that. For you guys and for the secondary market, I wouldn't pay more than $50,000 because you need to make a profit as well.
Okay, well, Chad, I appreciate you coming down, man.
Hey, thanks a lot. You have a good day.
Okay, so, you know, I know you heard Chad say 50,000. That's still a lot of money for me to put out like that, and it's gonna take a long time for me to sell it. I mean, it is unique. It is pretty cool. I don't really want to tie up that much money for that long. I'll offer you about 30.
That's a little low. I mean, I'm looking to get a little bit more closer towards the 50 if possible. How about, can we meet in the middle? 40,000?
Yeah, we can do that. Come with me, we gotta do some paperwork.
All good. $40,000, you know, I'm happy with that. Like I say, worst case, could have been just the silver, so pretty happy.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm John. I'm a local bail bondsman. I had a guy skip out on me on a $50,000 bail, and I was trying to see what I can get out of this to pay the bond.
So he skipped on you, huh?
Yes, sir. No laughing matter.
Yeah, life is a bitch sometimes.
I decided to come to the pawn shop today to sell my rare 1861 double eagle $20 gold piece. I took this coin for collateral against the guy skipping court, and he did skip court. Now I got to pay $50,000, so I'm hoping it'll make a dent in the $50,000 that I owe on this bond.
So do you know much about the coin?
Not much. I thought it was pretty good condition, but I was hoping you could tell me.
Was this graded at one time, or?
No, I've never had it graded.
You mind if I pull this out of the plastic? Because it's not graded. Doesn't really matter pulling this one out.
Don't drop it.
Huh. Put down my little safety pad.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
How's he looking, son?
I mean, it's in pretty damn good shape.
The U.S. Mint started making these coins in 1849, and they continued to make them for over 80 years. But there were design changes along the way, and this appears to be the original Liberty head. And it was a big deal to have one of these back then because $20 was a ton of money.
What I can tell you about this coin is it appears to be real. This is uncirculated, mint state. This is a very expensive coin. The reason this one is worth so much money is because this was a really low mintage year. There's 11 different grades of mint state, from MS60 to MS70. The difference between a 61 and a 63 is the difference between 10,000 and 40,000. There's also a variant of this coin that's worth right around $250,000 in this shape.
Really?
Rick, we might have the holy grail of coins here.
I'd like that. I'd like that a lot.
There's a possibility. I'd like someone to look at it who just knows a little bit more than me.
Sure.
So do you mind hanging out for a little bit and I can get somebody down here?
Sure.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Be right back.
Being a bondsman is all about making cash money, man. I'm hoping this expert comes in, tells me this coin's worth a lot of money.
I'm the owner of American Coin Express. I'm an avid collector and lover of coins. I've been doing it all my adult life. Every coin is unique. It's like a fingerprint. Okay, a $20 lib. When we had the 1849 gold rush, America had a substantial gold supply. They started issuing the $20 gold piece. Up till then, they only had the $10 gold piece, so that's why they call it a double eagle versus a eagle, which was a $10 gold piece. They made one pattern in 1849, the year of the gold rush, and that's sitting in the Smithsonian today, and basically priceless. And then in 1850, they started issuing $20 gold piece, the Liberty. It was the highest denomination gold people had out there, $20. What are your questions or concerns about this coin that you would like me to evaluate?
I need to know the grade on it. And I know there's a variant of this year that's super rare and worth $250,000 in this shape. So take a look.
Okay. The variant is distinguishable by the back. It was a design which was not accepted, but some of them were issued as patterns. There's less of them, and that's what makes the coin rare.
Okay, so is this it?
We'll look on the reverse, and that's how you can tell with the tall letters and the shield variation and the larger wingspan. Unfortunately, you do not have here. I am sorry.
Okay. What grade do you think it is?
Let me take a good look at it and tell you.
It was a long shot that this was the $250,000 coin, but it's still rare and it's still valuable. But before I can make an offer, I still have to have its condition and grade determined. We could be talking thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars.
Looks very high grade off the cuff. Very, very minor scratches on the whole coin. Good body, very slight wear. This definitely is a MS-63 or better coin, which would minimally be worth $40,000.
Okay, thanks a lot, Andrew. I really appreciate it.
I'm very happy. This coin's worth a lot of money.
So what do you want to do with it? Pawn it or sell it?
Sell it.
How much you want for it?
You heard the man, 40 grand.
40 grand is not going to happen. I'm thinking more like 30 grand. And that's cash.
Well, he said it was worth 40, and I definitely need the money. How about 35? So you know you're gonna make 5 grand off it.
I'm not necessarily going to make it 5 grand. I plan on making 5 grand. Plans don't always come out as planned. So how about 33?
34, you got a deal.
What do you think?
I'll go for it. What the hell?
All right, 34,000.
Fantastic.
All right, let's go write this thing up.
Very good. Just made $34,000. I'm very happy. I have to pay a $50,000 bond with it, but it's pretty good. It's better than I expected.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Good. I'd like to sell this gold coin if I could.
Okay. 8 escudos. This is a Spanish stamp here. This is like the Royal Crest of Spain. So where did you get this?
I got that from my grandfather when he died. He left a safe full of contents.
Any other cool things in the safe?
Not really, no.
No holy grails or anything like that?
No, not to my knowledge. I'm going into the pawn shop today to see if I can sell my grandfather's gold coin. He kept it in plastic, so it's in really good shape. Looks really old, and I don't really have any use for it. So I'm gonna see what they can do for me here.
Do you know much about this?
I don't know much about it at all.
Okay. I know a little bit about the coin. I mean, it's 8 escudos. It was from Lima, Peru. They had like the worst mines in the world. I mean, it was 2,000 feet deep. You would go down, it was cave-ins. There was no ventilation. There was no nothing. It was just really, really brutal. But it made a fortune for the Spanish.
Sure.
When the Spanish occupied Latin America and South America, they used forced slave labor to work the mines. It was a brutal and dangerous job, and the life expectancy was short.
Coins back then were weird. The size didn't have to be exactly correct. It just had to have the right amount of gold, the right weight, and the right purity. When they stamped these coins out, you didn't always get a great strike like this. It's almost too good to be true.
This coin is in exceptional condition, and I've seen similar coins fetch thousands of dollars at auction. So if this is a real piece of Spanish treasure from the 1700s, I want it.
So do you want to pawn it or sell it?
I want to sell it.
What were you looking to get out of it?
I'd like to get $2,000 if I could.
Okay. This coin is in really great shape, but this is easily counterfeited. There's a lot of fakes out there. So I'd really like someone to take a look at it, if you don't mind.
No.
I got a buddy who knows everything there is to know about these. I'm coming in, and we'll see what we can do.
Sounds great. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Carl, how's it going?
Good to see you, Rick. Why'd you get me up so early?
Well, I called you down here for this. It was one of those things that looked a little too good to be true.
I'm an expert on Spanish colonial coins. If you want to know anything about Spanish colonial coins, I'm your man. That's a Lima 8 escudo, and in this corner there's an L, that means Lima, Peru Mint. 8 is the denomination, biggest gold coin the Spanish made. The PVS across the center is an abbreviation for the Latin term plus ultra, meaning more beyond these 2 columns, which represent the Pillars of Hercules, which was the Straits of Gibraltar. They used to think you sailed out past there, you'd fall off the edge of the world. A few years back, there was a big scandal on some counterfeit.
And that's why I wanted to have it checked out.
Did you throw that on the scale?
Yeah, I did. It's 27.0 grams.
That is right on. Very rarely will they be right on 27 grams. Most castings are underweight. I know your concern is, could it be counterfeit? And there are a lot of counterfeit pieces going around. From everything I can see on this one, I'd say it's It's absolutely genuine.
Okay. So what do you think this is worth?
I would put a price tag of $18,000 on it.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you coming in, Carl.
Thank you, Rick. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's like finding treasure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the big question is, what do you want for it?
Sounds like 18,000 to me.
No, I don't. Why would we give you 10 grand for it?
How about 12?
How about 10 grand?
No, I can take it somewhere else.
How about 10.5?
I could pack it up and go. I wouldn't take anything less than 11,000.
I guess I got to do what I got to do. 11,000.
11,000.
Okay.
Got a deal. Thank you.
Let's go do the paperwork.
You got it. I'm shocked at how much the coin was worth. I had no idea. Considering I was only asking for $2,000 when I first got here, and now I'm getting 11,000, I feel very happy with that.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, how you doing? Can I see Rick?
Yeah, let me get him for you.
Okay.
Hey, Rick, got someone here to see you.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Oh, hey, Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
I was in town, and I have a couple coins to show you I think you might like.
Okay, let me see them. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. First coin is an 1838 gold brick dollar. These were what they call pattern silver dollars, so they were like an experimental issue.
Most people don't realize this. Back in the day, the Mint was always coming up with new designs. They actually tried to get a nickel into circulation when that was a nickel, but it had a hole in the center, so everyone called it the Holy Nickel.
I know Rick, and I was in town, and I have a couple of coins that have really good stories, and I think he might like buying them. Today, I want to show Rick I have an 1838 gold brick silver dollar, and I have an 1857S double eagle from the shipwreck of the SS Central America. The 1838 gold brick silver dollar, I'm looking to get $27,000 for it, and the 1857S double eagle, I'm trying to get $14,000.
This is incredible. I love the pattern dollars because the engravers at the Mint were really trying to do the best they could do. And this one?
Well, this is a great coin with a really neat story. So this is an 1857 S San Francisco double eagle, and this was made at the San Francisco Mint. And this ship called the SS Central America was on its way to New York City. And in 1857, it sank in a hurricane, and 425 people died on this ship. So it was really one of the biggest tragedies in American maritime history. So this is one of the coins that was recovered in the 1980s.
Okay, so big question. What do you want for them?
The 1838 gold brick dollar, I would sell that for $27,000. And for the price, Proof 65 example of this coin would be closer to $100,000. So it's a really great looking coin at an affordable price.
You know, $27,000 is not really an affordable price to most people.
Yeah, I think that. Better than $100,000.
And what do you want for the Shipwreck coin?
The Shipwreck coin I would sell for $14,000.
This one, I don't want. It's a great coin. It might be a great price and everything like that. The thing I hate about coins like this, it's off a shipwreck. My big fear is a few years from now, they'll go back down to the shipwreck again and they'll find a couple thousand of these, bring them up, and it takes the price down of all of them because somebody just flooded the market. Now, this one, I know there was only...
Guarantee there's no more of those coming out of the ocean.
Yes, there was only like 20 of those made, and they're as rare as hen's teeth. When people come in with ancient coins, I call them one of my experts. But these are the kinds of coins I deal on a regular basis for years and years and years. So they're in my wheelhouse. So I know exactly what these coins are, and I don't need to call anybody in because I know what I'm dealing with. Would you take 22 grand for it?
No, I couldn't do that. It's you know, it's a great coin, and I'd be losing money at that. So
I mean, I am buying this for myself. Okay,
well,
so you know, because I collect these kind of coins, and I don't. I mean, what's your best price?
Very, very best price I would do. I would sell it for $25,000.
So we got a deal at 24?
If you're buying it for yourself, I would sell it for the $24,000.
All right, sweet, we got a deal.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay,
Thanks.
Even though it's for myself, we still got to do paperwork. So you want to go over there?
Okay.
I'll write you up.
That sounds good. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, bring them both with you.
Okay.
I just won't tell my wife about it.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Pretty good?
Good.
What do we got here?
Scarface Morgan Silver Dollar, top 100 variety.
It's one of the cooler ones. It's got probably the coolest name, though. Say hello to my little friend.
Indeed. I have an 1888 Morgan Dollar Scarface variety that I'm coming into the pawn shop looking to sell today. There's about 19 of these in existence in graded mint state. I'm hoping to sell the coin for $15,000.
This is interesting. Morgan silver dollars. To this day, it's the most popular collected coin in the United States. Morgan silver dollars that came out in 1878. The reason why it's called a Morgan dollar is that the engraver was named Morgan. We basically imported him from England because we wanted prettier coins, because they were kind of blah. You know, we just got to be honest about it. So they called him and he made this beautiful design, and it literally came out of the mint like this. By making silver dollars, the government would actually make money off the whole thing. So we wanted tons of silver dollars in circulation. So the way the coin's made, you have a steel die on one side and then the steel die on the other side, and they put a planchet in the center. So the machine starts stamping them out really quickly, and the minting machine basically broke. And so Lady Liberty here has a scar down her face. It was basically a mistake. And then they replaced the die. But the thing is, some of these ended up in the bags of silver dollars that were going to banks, and some of them actually got out of circulation. Yeah, so where'd you get it?
I found it in a box. Actually been sitting in my collection for about 4 years. I thought it was a scratch for 4 years and did some research and found out it's actually pretty rare.
It's pretty rare. I don't know how many exist, but I'm sure it's less than 100. I have never seen one of these things in person before. I've seen them in books and like magazines, things like that. Super cool that you just ran across it, so you probably paid like 20 bucks for it.
I'll plead the fifth.
All right. So here's the deal. There's a weird marketing coins of people who collect errors, and this is considered an error, and it's like one of the coolest errors.
It's the king of the errors.
Yeah, they're pretty collectible. Did you know how much you wanted for it?
$15,000.
$15,000. I have no idea if that's the right price. Normally on like a graded coin, you can just look it up and get a really quick idea of the market value. But when you start talking rare, weird stuff, there's not really a price guide. I got a friend who specializes just basically in weird coins. Cool. So give me a minute, I'll be right back, okay?
Sure.
So here's the little friend.
Ah, your little friend. Wow. That's it. That's a Scarface. This is one of the most significant of the errors of Morgan dollars. This one is particularly expensive because it is just a huge die break. This die was probably literally almost falling apart when this coin was struck. So you can tell from here, the die is broken almost all the way across. So there are 4 acknowledged states of this, and collectors of these kinds of things, the more destruction, the better. If you got this in the first die state, it's a $125 coin. If you get it in the final die state, it's worth many thousands. This is a terminal die state, which means it's the most valuable. So it makes a big difference.
Okay, so going off the fact that it's like a terminal die state, what's it worth?
It's a very, very specialized coin. The collecting of errors of Morgan dollars really was only popularized in the last 30 years, and this one appeals to a very narrow audience. Because they're so highly individual, they kind of go all over the place in terms of pricing. The record for one of these is almost 20,000, and that was for one that was a little nicer than this, like a grade higher. But these things are very difficult to come up with an exact price, because in one auction they'll bring a little more, in one auction a little less, and the market has mellowed a little bit since then. So this is worth about $7,000.
Well, thanks, man.
Perfect. Thank you. And congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I'd give you like $4,500 for it.
I'm gonna have to pass on that. I've received offers above that, and I have no desire to sell it. It's part of my collection. And
so you've received offers of more than $7,000? I'd go take it then.
Okay.
All right. If the other offer falls through and you want $4,500, come and see me.
Will do. Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Thank you. Rick's offers bargain basement pricing. $4,500 is just too low. I've had it in my collection for a few years. I don't need to sell it.
I've got a very rare and historic gold coin you're going to want.
Oh, wow. 1809, $5 gold piece.
There's only 25 of them in the world.
When and where did you get the coin?
Well, I've been collecting coins since I was 10 years old.
Okay, so you got this new from the mint.
Hopefully I'm not that old, but
This is a very rare coin because it's 200 years old. It's worth at least $31,500. For those people who think that coin collecting is for dorks, obviously they haven't made any money collecting coins.
This was the equivalent of a week's wages at a good job. Say like a master carpenter, a silversmith, something like that. This is probably the most talked about coin of that era because it's got the weird 9. If you look at it, you can see the number 8 that they changed to a 9 when they re-engraved the die. Most people believe it was an 1808 die and we'll just hammer a 9 on there.
Try to save some money.
But it was the early part of the country. We had to figure it all out. So the first 15, 20 years of the U.S. Mint, it just really wasn't operated well.
That's what makes this coin so valuable. It's one of the first coins the United States mint.
So obviously you want to sell this.
Right.
Quanto?
About $31,510.
Luckily, it's already graded. It's MS63, which means mint state 63.
Right.
It's still in mint state. It's not circulated. And all I got to do is go figure out a price. That should take me 4 or 5 minutes. Let me make a few phone calls, do a little research on the internet. Be right back.
Okay. I know I've done my research, and I'm pricing the coin competitively. It's time to start a college savings plan for my kids, so I hope he understands how valuable and rare this coin is. What's the news? Good news, bad news?
It's listed on different sites as less.
It sold for $45,000 just a couple years ago.
No. More than a couple years ago during the boom. Remember those days? It's not those days. There's no doubt that this is a rare U.S. coin that's worth a lot of money. But coins are just like stocks. They go up and down in value. So if this guy's gonna sell me this coin, he's gotta realize it's worth a little less nowadays. I will go $25,000 cash.
I'll take a check for $27,500 and not a dime less.
You really gonna walk on 2,000? I'll go 26 grand, and I will not go a penny more.
I'll split the difference at 27 or...
26 is it. I mean, I hate to destroy a deal over $1,000, but at 26, there's no money left for me.
Gotta have 27. I'll take a check, no cash.
Okay. Thanks for coming to my store.
Sorry.
Change your mind, come on back.
Will do.
I totally respect it when someone sticks to their guns, but I just hate it when a great piece like this walks out the door. I love the coin, but the fact is, I'm a business and I have to make money. Hey, how's it going? What can I help you with?
I have a really cool antique from the gold rush here. It's a scale that dates back to the 1800s.
Okay, is there any gold in there?
Actually, there is.
There is?
Yep.
Okay. That looks like a little bit of plaster gold right there, yeah. It's great how, like, when gold's raw like this, it really doesn't look like gold. It looks like ugly, dirty brass, but that's the way gold looks.
I actually got it from a friend who was clearing out an estate in Minnesota. It's really cool because the vial of gold has never been opened. I think it's worth around $1,500 because of the antique historical value of the piece. As cool as the gold is, I'd just rather have folding money.
And you have a scale.
I do.
You would tie the 2 pans to it, put whatever you're weighing in one side and your little counterweights in the other until it balanced straight up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you just drop them on a scale and it's done.
Right. I was assuming it was from the California Gold Rush.
It does fit the time period because everyone needed one. You would walk into a bar in San Francisco in 1850, you know, they'd say, that'll be 22 grains of placer.
And then they'd weigh it out right there?
They'd weigh it out right there.
Wow.
This was your purse. This was your wallet.
Sure.
I love gold just as much as the next guy, but when I go into a store, I'd rather use cash.
So how much do you think gold was worth back then in the gold rush?
Just as much as it is today.
Okay.
Well, you have to realize, though, I mean, once you account for inflation, an ounce of gold buys you basically the same thing today as it did back then. The value really hasn't changed, just our money's got worth a lot less. That's why they've been using gold as money for 6,000 years. Now, as far as your scale here, really, really interesting, but is basically worthless. The problem is They're common as dirt. It's no different than a beat-up, rusty lantern from the 1850s.
Okay.
The gold, on the other hand, is always worth money, always will be. Do you have an idea how much is in here?
I think it's about 10 grams.
Yeah, for this stuff, I would pay you $40 a gram. So if there's 10 grams, there would be 400 bucks. And that would be it.
You can't do any better just because it's,
no,
just as a package, I think it has a lot more historical value. I want $1,500.
Okay. No. It's neat, it's cute.
Yeah.
Basically what you have here is you have some scrap gold. There's no difference that it's in a placer gold, it's mined gold, it's from 1850 gold, gold is gold. 400 bucks, that's what I could do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I could sell it for that.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming in, man.
Yep, thanks.
There's a reason my shop is called Gold and Silver. It's my 2 favorite things to buy. Gold has held its value for thousands and thousands of years, but I'm not gonna overpay for it.